Welcome to the always windy island of Karpathos. What are we doing on the outskirts of the town of Karpathos City, or Pigadia, near the docks? Follow us and learn more about the very first European civilization that settled here in the middle of nowhere, in a landscape that nowadays seems to consist of nothing more than boulders. But here, on the hill that rises above the harbour town, filled with hotels, you discover that appearances can be deceiving when you know that once a harbour of the oldest known great European civilization, the Minoans, laid here. This civilization, originally from Crete, slowly expanded to other islands, and the latest research seems to indicate that they must have arrived on Karpathos around the 16th century BC. And his place becomes even more special when you know that you actually are on the place where the oldest Greek statue in the British Museum has been found. This Karpathos Lady dates from around 3200 BC, and the figurine was probably a fertility deity because the female breasts and vulva are depicted so clearly. The statue became world famous when it was listed as one of the 100 most important historical objects by the museum, and shows that people lived here more than 5,000 years ago. In 1885, the statue was found by British adventurer Theodore Bent, and together with his wife Mabel, he smuggled the statue off the island in July, later selling it to the British Museum. It will come as no surprise that several petitions have been started to bring the statue back home. The Akropolis, which means the highest point of the city in Greek, where we are standing now, probably dates from slightly later Mycenaean times. From inscriptions we know that the remains of a tomb found here were probably a temple to the god Athena, and you can actually still find a Roman cistern with plastered walls. The city's inhabitants in the Hellenistic age named their port city Potidaion, after the god Poseidon, which in the Middle Ages changed to Posi. And an archaeologically trained eye will notice that not all the walls on this hill are medieval. This section of the wall is laid polygonally, meaning that the stones fit together almost perfectly, and is built in the Hellenistic period around the 4th century BC. Try to imagine that exactly these stones of this ruined wall saw the Second Cretan War unfold around them, and made Potidaion a strong defensive port around the 2nd century BC, as evidenced by a decree in honor of Pamphilides, who successfully defended the city against the Cretans at that time. On the other side of the hill, hidden on the grounds of a modern holiday villa, we find an almost 2,500-year-old sanctuary carved out of the rocks. In the niches cut into these rocks, votive offerings were placed, and the inscriptions found around them indicate worship of the Egyptian gods Serapis, Anubis, and Isis. It is not entirely certain, but this place of worship of saints from the Greco-Egyptian period was probably located in the open air. But how important religion was for the Hellenistic inhabitants is evident from the island's most beautiful archaeological gem, just west of Posi in the mountains. Hidden among the rock formations next to the road, we find a magnificent rock-cut cave, the Temple of Poseidon. From the outside it looks like a natural cave, but the entrance carved out of the rock reveals that we are dealing with a temple from the Hellenistic period. At the top, you can still see the stone-carved doorpost, where a wooden door used to be. As we enter through the gate, we see that the vestibule leads to two chambers carved out of rock, Both are largely naturally formed. But in the small room, we see that the roof has been carved into a round shape. And the walls also reveal handicrafts that may even date back to the late Bronze Age. But the most special thing is the large room, where you can see clear decorations and a roof carved into the rock. There may even have been a wooden second floor here. A total of 9 niches have been carved out, 3 of which are deep enough to possibly have been used as crypts. The decorations above the niches, and several pots and vases with religious images, indicate that at least this room served as a temple of the god Poseidon. Some of the objects found here can be admired in the Archaeological Museum in Pigadia. According to some sources, the foundation of the city of Potidaion was located here in the mountains, and not at the Akropolis. And as we descend again, try to realize how clever it is that archaeological science can reconstruct so much of the history of the oldest inhabitants of Karpathos with so little that is visible. Let us hope that modern film and virtual reality techniques will one day be able to portray the lives of these early islanders even more vividly.